Garcia. United are rocking.
Loving this atmosphere. 1,800 Manchester United fans in attendance. The first time that they've had, incidentally, a European away since February 2020 in a trip to Bruges. I mean, if you'd known you were signing off for a prolonged period of time on aways, Bruges would be a good choice.
It's true.
I would imagine. But what they didn't know then, they certainly know now. But they won't necessarily be enjoying their trip to this particular corner of Switzerland all of a sudden, because the noise is being made by the 30,000 or so young boy supporters, and Martins has caught and fouled Paul Pogba. And Martins has already been booked, so just needs to be a little bit careful. And there was nothing really untoward there. In fact, Pogba was already down. The foul wasn't by Martins. He was on his way down before Martins got there.
Martins thought about the challenge, pulled out of it, and his feet gave way from under him. Saw one for Pogba, nevertheless.
This is the first opportunity in the second half United have had to get bodies forward. It's a set piece 30 yards out from goal on the right-hand side. Diego Dalot is standing over it. But there are actual targets in Manchester United shirts in the penalty area for the first time since the 35th minute of the game, when Wan-Bissaka was sent off. Now we have a pitch invader who has been tripped once, twice, and is now being surrounded by stewards. I don't really understand what that ever achieves.
Me neither. And Manchester United taking the opportunity to discuss what they're going to do with this free kick. Dalot is definitely going to be in control of it, but a little chat sort of towards the edge of the penalty area near the D between Harry Maguire, Fred.
Imagine if Manchester United were to score now, having soaked up all that pressure. They've conceded once, but the game remains at one apiece with 12 minutes of the 90 remaining, and Dalot is a picture of concentration and focus, eyes piercing down the line of players ahead of him as he decides which target to pick out in Manchester United blue and white. Dalot delivers, right-footed, it's a really good one, and here's Lindelof and Varane in there, and it's just bouncing around. Maguire was the first United player to get a touch, but he couldn't turn his effort goalwards. Here's Matic, who we've barely seen since he came on. Shaw for Matic. United have managed to keep the ball in the young boys' half, something that we've not said often in this second half, and then eventually the ball spins out of play, but it does so off a United player, and Hefty takes it as Luke Shaw just mischievously tries to flick the ball out of his hands.
It's a terrific ball from Dalot from the free kick. Great run by Maguire, and just hit him on the back of the head. He almost ran past it.
He just hadn't quite timed that run to perfection. Nagamalu out to Garcia on the left-hand side. He's just shrugged off Dalot.
He's had a terrific match, Ulysses Garcia.
Yeah, I like the look of him, definitely. A player signed from Werder Bremen in 2018. Misplaced pass from Camara. Matic is caught, and he's caught by Christopher Martins, and this time it definitely was Martins with the challenge, and this time it definitely makes sense to point out that he has already been shown a yellow card.
He looks maybe a foul away from a second yellow, I think.
I think he might just be thinking about a foul away from a yellow card. Ronaldo is back with the Manchester United tracksuit on and has taken his seat in the Manchester United dugout, so he's...
Very slowly. I think he's reprising his coaching efforts from UEFA Euro 2016. You've got to make that metamorphosis into coaching at some point in your late 30s, don't you?
If he can be as effective to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as he was to Portugal in 2016, then who knows what might happen in the final 10 minutes of this game. The five-time Champions League winner has taken a seat for the time being. Young boys want a free kick for a collision between Lindelof and Elia. Who's that that's gone to ground? Yeah, it is Mishak Elia, but the ball has just gone behind, and the decision goal kick. Yeah, both players challenging for the ball. A clash of heads as they both stooped to get something on it, and it was Elia who did, and it will be a goal kick, and both are just a little dazed and confused. Lindelof has stayed down and needs treatment for a head injury. Elia is getting treatment for what appears to be cramp as young boys prepare to make a change with 9.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. The player coming on will be Fabian Rida, And wouldn't it just be the story if a Bern-born Champions League debutant got the winning goal?
And it's really no surprise that Ellie is getting treatment for cramp. He has put so much into this game. He's given Manchester United difficulties from minute one, in central positions, on both flanks. But no dampening of the atmosphere here. They still believe that something even more special is coming. I mean, it's been a special night anyway for a team that's so green in the Champions League context. I mean, you were talking about them being Swiss champions 4 times in a row, Stephen. They hadn't won the league for 32 years before they won it in 2018. So they're really building a dynasty at young boys, and this is the next step of that. And I think he's maybe been listening to commentary, David Wagner, when it comes to his substitution.
I didn't notice he had an earpiece in, but you're welcome, David. The change is one that pretty much was required. Christopher Martin's substituted before he perhaps asks the referee to make a decision, and that's the player that Fabian Rida is on to replace.
Suleimani's coming on as well.
This is a really interesting change. The only young boys player before tonight who'd scored in the Champions League, the only young boys player before tonight who had made more than 20 appearances in the competition, and the player that he is coming on for is the right-back Sylvan Hefti. So this feels like an attacking move to introduce the 32-year-old Serbian who's now in his 7th season with the club.
But you send on a winger for a right-back, that's saying something. I mean, I know Hefty's pretty adventurous, and as we were saying before, played a key part in that goal without actually touching the ball, dummying it, catching United's defence off guard.
Well, the ball's gone out of play in the right-back area for Manchester United, and Dalot asks for a ball boy to throw one straight back to him. So perhaps feels like this is a good time in the game for United to show a little bit of urgency with 7 minutes remaining. Still United 1, young boys 1 in Bern, in Switzerland. A good result, you would think, for Atalanta and Villarreal, who play each other in one of the later games this evening on match night 1 in this season's Champions League. Here's the scorer of the home team's goal, Negamalu. Cuts inside from the right and plays it into the feet of the central defender Kamara. He finds Lauper. Out it goes to the left to Garcia. The retreating Matic anticipated what Garcia was thinking about doing and intercepted the pass. Ball forward towards Lingard is slightly misplaced. I would suggest Lingard's not touched the ball since he came on. He's got a lonely furrow to plough up front for United.
Well, we were saying that about Cristiano Ronaldo at the beginning. Maybe Lingard's got a winner in him, who knows?
He's suggesting the reverse jinx could work again this evening.
Well, Lingard's in incredible goal-scoring form in 2021, isn't he? So yeah, not to be ruled out.
Incredible spell on loan at West Ham United. 9 goals in 16 appearances for them, and
brilliant goal at the weekend as well.
Yep, against Newcastle in the 4-1 win. That was the clincher, the cherry that was popped on top after Bruno Fernandes had applied the icing to Ronaldo's 2 goals. Here's Negamalu for young boys on the right-hand side. His cross cannons off the shins of Shaw and spirals behind for a corner. And with 5.5 minutes of the 90 remaining, young boys have managed to get themselves back on the front foot.
And they're doing well to do so. They've put so much physically into this game. There are a few of them flagging out there. That's why people like this man Suleimani taking the corner are going to be important. Substitutes with fresh legs in the last few minutes.
Suleimani delivers, left-footed, in-swinger, headed away by the towering Maguire, out as far as Garcia, who looks to go round the outside on the left, past Fred, who has put in an incredibly watchful defensive midfield display to try and prevent crosses coming in from either flank. Wherever there is a threat down the outside, Fred seems to be the obstacle that United are putting in place. Out to the right-hand side it goes to Moumi Negamalu, whose first Champions League goal. is the reason that this game is one apiece after Ronaldo had United 1-0 up at half-time. Nagamalu outside of the left foot from the edge of the penalty area. He needed it curling back towards goal rather than shaping away from it, and it's harmlessly behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, decent connection. But again, we're seeing the value of Subachu holding the ball up there, just chesting it down for him. And that's where United are lacking the cover, really, on that second ball. It's where they've been lacking cover all evening.
Well, the player who scored Manchester United's clinching goal in a 3-0 win on their previous visits to Bern is about to be introduced, and maybe United haven't given up entirely of creating a goal-scoring opportunity, because Anthony Martial is the one who's going to be coming on. Wondering who he might be coming on for. Here's Lingard, eventually gets himself into the game but can't get away from about 3 yellow and black shirts which were in close attendance, and the ball is back at the feet of David Valbalmus, who has had absolutely nothing to do in the second half. Not a single shot towards his goal, let alone on his goal, to worry about. Varane headers forward, but is picked up by Nagamalu, away from Shaw. Here's Suleimani. He too holds off Shaw and awaits the overlapping run from Garcia. Suleimani, left-hand side, what's the cross like? Shaw sticks with him and does brilliantly, and Dalot toe pokes it away, but only as far as Lauper, who's going to shoot from 25 metres. Goodness me, that needed fingers from David De Gea to make sure it cleared the crossbar.
My, what a great connection that is.
That's an outstanding save, by the way, just in case I didn't emphasise that enough.
It just goes over the head of Nemanja Matic, and he doesn't see it until quite late, De Gea. It is an absolutely splendid save with his very fingertips, as you say.
It might have just been dipping enough, Andy.
I think it was.
Suleimani with the resulting corner. Headed away at the near post by Dalot, who's out on that left-hand side, and the ball back forward towards Suleimani is well beyond him and behind for a goal kick. 2 minutes and change, plus stoppage time remaining, and David De Gea may just have earned Manchester United a valuable UEFA Champions League point on match night 1.
Yeah, I think that's very much the case. It's still all hands to the pump for Manchester United. Deep into the closing minutes here.
Thrilling end in Bern. It's still 1-1 in the other early match between 10-man Sevilla and Salzburg. I'll let you know if that changes. And remember, coming up later, 6 more games kicking off very shortly. Our featured commentary will be Chelsea against Zenit. We'll have updates of Barcelona against Bayern and the goals as they go in from the 4 other late matches. Can young boys find a winner, or will it be Manchester United who are making a change? Stephen White.
Well, the change is an interesting one, Chris, because Manchester United are taking off their rolling roadblock, Fred, and that's the player that Anthony Martial is replacing, so somebody else needs to take on that responsibility, a job that Fred has done tremendously in this second half.
Yeah, he really has. He's been embraced by all the Manchester United coaching staff as he makes his way onto the bench. Delighted with the effort that he's put in. It's been an absolute Trojan for his team this evening.
So Martial has gone up front. Lingard has dropped back into a number 10 position. Be interesting to see who, whether it's Matic. Matic is not as mobile as Fred is in terms of doing the job that Fred was doing. No, United are in the young boys' half. We're in the 90th minute of the game. First touch for Martial down by the right-hand corner flag, trying to keep the ball in play, but he can't do so. He juggles it a couple of times, but it will be, pardon me, a young boy throw. About 10 metres away from their left-hand corner flag that they're defending. The camera on the edge of his own penalty area. Out to the right-hand side. Fasnacht is sort of now playing as a right wing-back for young boys since Hefty was taken off, and out of the corner of my eye I've just glanced at a board with 5 minutes on. That's how many minutes of stoppage time we are going to have. Out towards Young on the edge of his own penalty area, gets the header, and it's hoisted further clear by Anthony Martial. Feels like 5 minutes for Manchester United to survive. Feels like 5 minutes left for young boys to keep pushing for the winning goal that they've been striving for ever since they equalised midway through this second half. 1-1 it remains. Fasnacht on the right, Suleimani willing to play on whichever side that he thinks the ball is going to most likely come to him. He's played a ball into the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Here's Elia, right foot cross, good one, away by Maguire, and Pogba does really well initially to control the ball, but then doesn't clear with any conviction, and Fasnacht has it again, right-footed. Dalot able to hook the ball away at the back post as United defend, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in midway inside the Manchester United half.
And they were fortunate there, because when the ball came in from Fasnacht, they were outnumbered at the back post, but the ball was just a bit too heavy for Sibachur to get his head on it. He's having a really absorbing battle there with Raphael Varane, the US international. Both had hold of each other's shirts as the ball came in there.
Well, one central defender for another is one of the changes, because Cedric Ceziga is coming on for Laupa. The other change is up front, as Meshak Elia, who has put in a shift, I believe, is the vernacular.
That is who the reception is for, and he really deserves it.
Wilfried Kanga is on to make his fourth substitute appearance in Champions League competition for this season. United want to throw, they get a throw as Dalot tries to burst out of defence, right on the right-hand side, just inside the United half, although Dalot has been told to retreat 5 metres or so to where the ball went out of play. We've played 2 minutes of 5 of stoppage time. 1-1 it remains. Ronaldo's 13th minute goal. United comfortable at that point. Sending off of Aaron Wan-Bissaka with 10 minutes to go before half-time, completely changing the game. Young boys have been in the ascendancy ever since, but have just got the one goal to show for their efforts. The equaliser scored by Mumi Nagamalu. They've been pushing for a second ever since, but Nagamalu can only run the ball out of play for a throw-in. Chris, 2.5 minutes of stoppage time remaining, 1-1.
We're into 6 added minutes in Spain. It's still 10-man Sevilla 1, Salzburg 1, but only thanks to a brilliant save from Yacine Bono, who has denied Brendan Aronson, who let fly from 20 metres out. It was going in, and he's produced a fantastic save. He produced an unbelievable save earlier on in this second half as well to keep Sevilla in this match. It's 1-1, 4 added minutes remaining though in that game.
David De Gea just advised to get on with taking a free kick that Manchester United have just been awarded, because he is on a yellow card already for time wasting.
Have we ever seen that? A goalkeeper picking up a second booking for time wasting?
Can you imagine?
I mean, this game has had a lot. That would be another level.
That would be a world record, I think, for eyes of disbelief. Here come United down the right. Dalot trying to burst past Garcia, who's having absolutely none of it. And the ball forward, which was a hopeful ball forward, has turned into a great one for Wilfried Kanga, bursting down the left, sending it across into a pretty much unoccupied penalty area. But young boys, well, I thought for a moment there that Fasnacht had captured in play, but the ball just trickles harmlessly beyond the white line, and it'll be a United throw in the left-back position.
He gave everything to keep that in, Fasnacht. Really great performance from him. I think he's cursing like Soleimani had given that up. He thought it was out of play, and Fasnacht really threw himself at it. Is there just one more chance for young boys? Maybe for Manchester United.
Dalot's ball forward. Header won by Ceziga. Here's Garcia. We're in the final minute of 5 of stoppage time. Young boys 1, Manchester United 1. Dying embers of the contest. Oh, it's a terrible back pass. They're in to win it. Young boys have won it. A mistake punished. And Jordan Sibachou has won the game for young boys. A horrendous mistake at the back by Manchester United, but absolute jubilation around the Stadion Wagner. And what a huge, huge moment for the US international Jordan Sibachou, who has made it 2-1 to young boys.
The joy is palpable. All the substitutes are on the pitch. Everyone from the bench is up. David Wagner is celebrating in front of the main stand. And Sibachou, who's given so much effort since he's come on, but really with very little change. He's been physically battling with Varane.
Oh, it's Lingard. Oh, my goodness.
He just didn't look. But Sibachou did really well because he had to readjust. He can't have been expecting that. De Gea came out pretty quickly. And Sibachu has just guided it round him with the inside of his right foot into the far corner. That must be the winner.
And a sense of deja vu for David Wagner, who, with an unfancied team, just as he did, 5 years ago with Huddersfield Town, has masterminded a victory by 2-1 over Manchester United. Thoughts with Jesse Lingard, who hangs his head at the full-time whistle. Cristiano Ronaldo's 13th minute goal looked to have Manchester United in control. The contest completely turned by the red card brandished in the direction of Aaron Wan-Bissaka with 10 minutes to go before half-time. It was all young boys from that moment on. They got a deserved equaliser midway through the second half, scored by Mumi Nagamalu, and just as Manchester United were within seconds of getting the hardest earned of points, Jesse Lingard's back pass, which didn't get anywhere near close enough to David De Gea, was pounced upon by the substitute Jordan Sibachu, who on his debut in the competition composed himself to finish right-footed past the advancing Manchester United goalkeeper. And it has finished in Bern on a quite absorbing early evening of Champions League football. Young Boys 2, Manchester United 1.
What a way to kick off this season's group stage. Those celebrations, Stephen and Andy, were as if Young Boys had won qualification to the round of 16. All the subs are off the bench. They were sprinting around the pitch. They're still celebrating out there. We've seen the US international just give a massive fist pump to the camera as well. What a beginning for Young Boys, who worked so hard to get to the group stage, and now they have beaten one of the biggest teams in the world in Manchester United. Yes, Jesse Lingard didn't look, but what a finish that was. What a story we have had here on opening night already. Young Boys have come from behind to beat 10-man Manchester United by 2-1. The full-time whistle has just gone in the south of Spain. Another absorbing, thrilling, crazy old game. It's finished 1-1 between Sevilla and Salzburg. Sevilla had a man sent off. There were 4 penalties in the first half alone, and it finished 1-1 because Sucic scored his and Rakitic scored his, although Sucic did miss another one as well. So 1-1 between Sevilla and Salzburg, but it has finished Young Boys of Bern 2, Manchester United 1.
Vote for your goal of the week. From midnight CET on Wednesday, you can watch the 4 best goals on the official UEFA Champions League app and pick your favourites.
Well, it's bedlam in Bern at the Stadion Wankdorf. Andy Brassel and Stephen Wyeth, have you had a sip of water? Have you had a chance to regain some composure after that finish? David Wagner barely has.
It's astonishing scenes. You can't help but be delighted for Young Boys, who are leaping up and down in front of their support, doing a lap of honour, because I guess this result means so much to a team who play at their level of European football, in one of the leagues where you have to, even if you're champions of your division, even if you're champions of your division 4 years running, you have to come through qualifying just to get a chance at the top table of European football. So when you get there, what you want is a memorable result, a big night to really stamp your mark on the competition, to create that little bit of history for yourself. And in beating Manchester United tonight, coming from behind to do so, they have certainly done that, Andy.
Exactly, Stephen, and they work for this behind closed doors, where they had to motivate themselves like every other football team in Europe for most of last season. So to enjoy a night like this in front of those supporters, I think means so much, and it's really everything they've put in over the last 4 and a bit seasons to get to this point, because they knew how to take advantage when Manchester United went down to 10 men. They had the confidence in themselves, they had the creativity to make the most of that, and United never had the chance to come up for air.
Andy, sorry, and Stephen, I've just seen that the official stats, okay?
I just looked at those as well.
Total attempts. Young Boys had 20 and Manchester United had 2. I mean,
both for Ronaldo.
Yes, of which
in the first half.
That is that's an extraordinary stat to have seen popping up. That the players are now doing a lap of honour. Nobody has left the Stadion Wankdorf, and I think your point, Andy, absolutely needs to be made again. You know, so much football has been played behind closed doors, and the moments that supporters have missed the most are those last-minute winners, right?
Yes.
And you saw in the stands when that goal went in, that is what being a football fan is all about. They won't forget this night in a hurry.
Do you know what? They'd only once previously beaten English opposition in UEFA club competition, and that was in a playoff game against Tottenham back in August 2010, in a tie that they lost 6-3 on aggregates.
Yes.
So this is a really big night for young boys against one of the big clubs in one of the huge established leagues in European football, to have gone toe-to-toe with Premier League football, playing against a team that had a collective of 9 Champions League winners' medals between them on the field at one point with Varane and Ronaldo, playing against a side who before tonight only had 26 Champions League appearances collectively between them. That is a huge gulf in experience, in quality and craft and know-how, and all that has been overcome because, yes, Manchester United played with 10 men for 55 minutes, but they made a real mess of playing with 10 men for 55 minutes because of how quickly young boys adapted to that situation and looked to take this. They didn't think, right, we'll get to half-time, we'll regroup and we'll decide how we're going to go. They seized the opportunity from the moment it was presented to them.
I agree, Stephen. It all goes back to that moment where Christopher Martins-Pereira is receiving treatment for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who, of course, Wan-Bissaka went to check on him, made sure he was okay before he left the field rather than protesting the card. And Wagner got his players together and said, right, this is how we're going to approach it. And it was like a switch. It changed straight away the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
David Wagner at the end, by the way. He's not been there long, of course, new this season. The crowd were absolutely loving him, and he gave a fist pump back. He most definitely is the man in charge at the Stadion Wankdorf. Stephen Wyeth, Andy Brassel, thank you very much. Brilliant commentary this evening. A brilliant game to begin this season's Champions League. Extraordinary drama. Young boys have beaten Manchester United by 2-1. The other early match finished 1-1 in a, well, we'll talk about it later in particular, but another extraordinary game, 1-1 between Sevilla and Salzburg. So 2 matches down, but still 6 to come here on the programme.
You're listening to UEFA Champions League Matchday Live.
And next we're off to Stamford Bridge as the defending European champions Chelsea start their title defence.
What a pass this is for Havertz, who could be through, gets around Ederson and will score and put Chelsea in front. And it's Thomas Tuchel's side who have first blood at the Estadio do Dragão.
Chelsea host Zenit in our featured commentary from the late games. We'll also bring you extended updates on Barcelona versus Bayern.
It's Kimmich, end of the area. Good strike! Oh. It's a brilliant goal by Joshua Kimmich. Turning on the D, Bayern Munchen have regained the lead.
Plus, we have the goals as they go in from Dynamo Kiev against Benfica, Villarreal, Atalanta, Los Lille versus Wolfsburg, and Malmö against Juventus. Yeah, we're on air with you until 11:30 CEST. Remember to keep your messages coming in on Twitter at Champions League using the hashtag MatchDayLive. Tell us who's going to win this season's Champions League, who's going to be the surprise package and why. Maybe it's young boys after their amazing win against Manchester United already this evening. Can't wait for the next 6 matches, though. Jonathan Beck is the man who is going to be watching an absolute cracker between Barcelona and Bayern, and you can remind us of the team news.
Yeah, indeed. Ronald Koeman's gone with a 3-5-2 for the first time this season as Barcelona look to cope without a number of absentees. Sergio Aguero, Ousmane Dembele and Ansu Fati are all still injured, joined after the last game by Martin Braithwaite, who needs knee surgery. But Sergio Roberto and Gerard Piqué have shaken off problems to start. Luke de Jong makes his debut, Eric Garcia his UEFA Champions League debut for the club, and Pedri's back from his belated summer holiday. It's ter Stegen in goal, Araujo, Garcia and Piqué the back three. Sergio Roberto Ronaldo, Frankie de Jong, Sergio Busquets, Pedri and Jordi Alba, de Jong and Depay up front. Bayern are as strong as they can be, except for the absence of Serge Gnabry. He's only deemed fit enough for the bench. He trained this morning at Espanyol's training ground to try prove his fitness, but a back injury means Jamal Musiala starts ahead of him. Thomas Müller makes a 125th UEFA Champions League appearance. He has scored 6 goals in his last 5 games against Barcelona, and he won the player of the match in the 8-2 victory 13 months ago. It's Neuer in goal, Pavard, Upamecano, Zula and Davies, Kimmich and Goretzka the midfield two, Musiala, Müller and Sané behind Robert Lewandowski.
Can't wait for this. Regular updates from Jonathan Beck throughout the evening. Our commentary game, though, coming up very shortly. The light show has started at Stamford Bridge. Is Chelsea against Zenit, the defending champions. John Bradley, your commentator for this one.
What a wonderful atmosphere it is at Stamford Bridge as the champions come out for the first time to defend the title that they won so dramatically at the end of last season. The supporters of Chelsea have been looking forward to this one for months now, since they lifted that crown against Manchester City, and they start their defence against the Zenit St Petersburg side, who are desperate to get back on track in the UEFA Champions League after a couple of disappointing seasons.
And John, the team news is very interesting, particularly from a Zenit point of view, because a number of players that we thought might miss out are actually in the 11.
Yes, it is very much so, Chris, because there was a time that we thought the likes of Wilmar Barrios, Vendel and Malcolm wouldn't make the game. Well, they are all fit and play in an unusual-looking system for Sergei Semak's side. So they have Kritsiuk in goal, Sutomin Kristiakov, Rakitsky and Douglas Santos at the back. No Dejan Lovren, he's ruled out through injury. That's a blow for them. But then we're expecting 5 in midfield, Vendel, Wilmar Barrios and Kuzyaev, with Claudinho and Malcolm on the flanks, and they will support where they can Sardar Azmoun, who leads the line, the Iranian. It means that Artyom Dzyuba, so often the target man and the leader of Zenit, is only on the bench. For Chelsea, well, it is a very strong lineup named by Thomas Tuchel. He's resisted the urge to bring Ben Chilwell in, and once again Hakim Ziyech is preferred to Kai Havertz. It's Mendy in goal, Rudiger Christensen and Azpilicueta at the back. Across the midfield, the usual 4 that you see, of course, in the absence of N'Golo Kanté, who is back in training but is not being risked for this game. So it's James, Kovacic, Jorginho and Alonso, Ziyech, Mount and Lukaku. It means, of course, that Saul drops down to the bench from the weekend.
He does. John Bradley, a commentator for this one. The lights are back on in West London, and the European football expert Kevin Hatchard is going to be alongside John. So Chelsea defending champions, Kevin. Tough opening night for them. Zenit fans making some noise at Stamford Bridge. This is by no means a foregone conclusion, is it?
Certainly not, but Thomas Tuchel will be very clear with his players that it's not, and this is a guy that relishes finding a way to beat different opposition. This is what he lives for, trying to work out Zenit, trying to work out what they'll do, trying to match up and find a way to beat them. And I thought it was really interesting that he talked this week about being addicted to winning. You know, this is a guy that, OK, he's won the Champions League, OK, he got to the final the season before. That's gone now. He's not interested in that anymore. Now he's interested in winning the next one, and he will take it game by game. And what he's done over the past couple of seasons is really established himself as an elite football coach. Yeah, of course, he's aiming for a 3rd straight Champions League final, because he had one with Paris St-Germain as well against Bayern. Kickoff is, what, 8 minutes away. There's lots of smiles. It is fantastic to see full stadiums again and away supporters. It's going to be a terrific atmosphere. And we can hear now from the Chelsea captain, Cesar Azpilicueta, who was not part of the team that won the title in 2012, but was part of the Chelsea side that crashed out of the group stage as defending champions the following season. And he says his side are desperate to avoid the same fate again this campaign.
Of course, you know, it was a very bad experience, quite painful, because you know, I came from Marseille, and you know, we reached in my 2 years there in Marseille quarter-final and last 16 of the competition. So when I arrived to Chelsea just after winning the Champions League, you know, it was a tough moment to get to be out of the group stage after being the champions of Europe, and this, you know, because I'm the only one that I am in the squad from that moment, but I will try to to help with this experience, that it doesn't happen again, because as I said before, there is no, we don't get more points this season because we are the champions. So we start from zero. It's a new challenge. We face tough opponents in the group stage already, so we have to be ready for it, and hopefully we can get through, because it's our objective. We want to fight for everything, and this experience hopefully helps us to go forward.
Says Azpilicueta, who is down in the tunnel and very shortly will be leading Chelsea out onto the Stamford Bridge pitch. We could see what it meant to him to finally get his hands on the trophy back in May. And Kevin Hatchard, one of the players who I think when Thomas Tuchel came in, people thought, well, is Cesc Azpilicueta going to be in the starting 11? Where's he going to play? Well, he is most weeks, and he is of massive importance to this Chelsea team.
He's a leader, and Thomas Tuchel respects intensity, respects people who care as deeply about football as he does, and I think he's been a terrific part of the squad, a terrific part of the team, and he sets the tone. If you're not working hard enough without the ball, he'll tell you. If you're not tackling hard enough, he'll tell you. That's the kind of guy you need around the squad if you're going to win the biggest trophies.
Completely agree. He walks out onto the pristine pitch here under the lights in West London, and Chelsea's title defence is very nearly upon us. This is one of 6 late games here on UEFA Champions League Match Day Live. 42,000 inside Stamford Bridge. Full commentary coming up of Chelsea against Zenit St Petersburg. You're listening to UEFA Champions League Matchday Live as Romelu Lukaku walks out onto the pitch for his Champions League debut for Chelsea. He's never won this competition. Chelsea have on 2 occasions, once just 108 days ago. They sing about being champions of Europe, and now their title defence starts right here against the champions of Russia, who are looking to reach the last 16 and whose home stadium, the Gazprom Arena, hosts this season's final. Another nice little twist to the narrative tonight. There will be no pushovers whatsoever, Zenit, as we hear the UEFA Champions League anthem ring around Stamford Bridge. Terrific noise at Stamford Bridge. One of 6 late matches. We'll keep you up to date with the goals as they go in between Dynamo Kiev and Benfica, Villarreal and Atalanta, Lille and Wolfsburg, and Malmö and Juventus. Already tonight, Manchester United have been beaten away from home against Young Boys, who came from behind after an early Cristiano Ronaldo goal. And it finished 1-1 in the match between Sevilla and Salzburg in a game that had 4 penalties in the opening half. So over to the rest of Europe to keep us entertained for the next 90 minutes or so. Jonathan Beck is going to be watching another cracking game potentially between Barcelona and Bayern, and the teams are just stepping out in Spain, Jonathan.
Yeah, we're a touch behind what's going on at Stamford Bridge. The team's just lining up to hear the UEFA Champions League anthem ring around Camp Nou for the first time. It is sparsely populated. It's such a big arena that if it's not quite full, it doesn't look full, but they make a hell of a noise even with only around a third full. So Bayern coming to try and do what they did 13 months ago. Barcelona looking for revenge against the German champions.
They certainly are. We'll have the goals as they go in from Jonathan. A really nice moment here on the pitch at Stamford Bridge, though. The UEFA president, Alexander Chefrin, has just awarded Eduard Mendy the award for the Goalkeeper of the Year award for last season, and he was absolutely fantastic. And Jorginho is pitchside as well. Of course, he was named UEFA Men's Player of the Year shortly before the group stage draw in Istanbul a couple of weeks ago. Chelsea, kings of Europe, and with 2 of the best players. We're also seeing N'Golo Kanté pick up his award as well. It was almost a clean sweep for Chelsea in terms of those UEFA Player of the Year awards. And no surprise, given they were the best team in Europe last season. Jorginho is about to get his hands on the biggest, shiniest trophy of them all, and he's got a massive smile on his face. That's the applause from the stands. And they will now get ready to do battle once more as Thomas Tuchel, who happened to win the Coach of the Year award as well, gets his trophy. A lovely moment at Stamford Bridge under the floodlights. The success of the past rightly appreciated by the players and the fans, but as you heard from Kevin Hatchard, Thomas Tuchel is already thinking about the future, and it starts right here tonight against Zenit St Petersburg. The road to St Petersburg begins here for these two clubs, as it does for everybody else. You're listening to UEFA Champions League Matchday Live with myself, Chris Parrott. Keep your messages coming in using the hashtag MatchdayLive. Tell us where in the world you're listening. Get involved in our topic tonight. Who are the favourites for this competition in your eyes, and who are going to be the dark horses? We've seen 2 great games already this evening. We might yet have 6 more. And this one is in the company of your commentary team. The European football expert Kevin Hatchard is alongside John Bradley.
Yes, thanks, Rob. Good evening to you. It's a really intriguing start to the UEFA Champions League season. With all those awards, one would think that aside from the Kings Road, were the Kings of Europe, wouldn't they, with the number of awards that they got. And how do you make the Kings of Europe even stronger? Well, you add one of the best forwards in world football and one of the most gifted central midfielders as well. That's what Chelsea have done in the off-season. Now it's time for the new season, the defence of the crown. It starts against the Russian champions, the side top of the Russian Premier League, at the start of this new season in Zenit St Petersburg, a side that has threatened in recent years to make their mark. The players once again take the knee to continue their stance against all forms of racism within the game. Warm applause around Stamford Bridge. The Zenit players joining their opponents in taking the knee. And we are now underway. Chelsea all in blue against Zenit St Petersburg in their change strip today of white shirts and white shorts and very pale blue socks, which is the same colour, of course, as their home strip for those who regularly see them. Jorginho's lost the ball on the edge of his own penalty area here, and it very nearly falls towards Vendel. A loose ball will come out. It's a bit of a slow start, this, from Chelsea, who gave the ball away on the edge of their own penalty area and nearly fell towards Sitormin. And now the ball is back with Stanislav Kritsiuk in the Zenit goal at the other end of Stamford Bridge. But just for a moment, Chelsea were caught a little cold, caught a little short, and Sardar Azmoun, who doesn't need normally asking twice, was very nearly in.
Yeah, they got caught not once but twice. It was Christensen initially, and then Jorginho, who's usually so confident and sure-footed in possession, giving the ball away cheaply. Chelsea can't afford that kind of lapse, because, as you say, guys like Azmoun, with his movement, with his ability, can punish them if they make mistakes.
Now, we were talking in the build-up to the game about how Chelsea would approach this, and the very analytical mind of Thomas Tuchel against this Zenit side, coached by Sergei Semak, one of the greatest Russian players of all time, and the man who made more appearances in the Russian Premier League than any other player. Champion, of course, at so many levels. And Chelsea are on the counter-attack now as the ball is played towards Mount. It will just run away. But what is unusual tonight is Tuchel, very data-driven, very analytical, loves watching the video of the teams they're playing. Zenit would normally play a 3 at the back, normally play a 4 at the back. Tonight it's 4, but when they play 4 at the back, they generally would play with sort of 2 or 3 up. Tonight, very much a 5 in midfield, 4 at the back, and then Azmoun a little isolated up front, but the 2 wide players will be encouraged to join in. And it's interesting because they don't normally play that way, and it's interesting to see how that affects Tuchel's approach.
Yeah, it's very important that Claudinho on the left and Malcolm on the right try and get up and support Azmoun whenever they can. What they're trying to do is they're trying to stop Chelsea having control of midfield, because we've seen that time and time again, the way that Chelsea pass the ball beautifully. That's what Thomas Tuchel's all about. He's all about giving the man on the ball plenty of options. With 5 in midfield, you can close those options down a bit.
And Chelsea have the ball with Cesar Azpilicueta, and squares it across towards Christensen, who's had a wonderful start to the season. Had a wonderful tournament in Euro 2020 as well with Denmark, who You know, people will forget, with everything that went on surrounding them in that tournament, how excellent they were as a unit. Christensen very much part of that. That's a good challenge by Kristiakov on Lukaku. This ball will come towards Ziyech, and now out wide right towards James. Down by the corner flag is Mason Mount on the right-hand side. Dalakuzyayev is the closest Zenit player to him and just forces him back and forces Chelsea back towards halfway as Peliqueta on towards Christensen. Here's Rudiger, another one who's really enjoying a purple patch ever since Thomas Tuchel came in. A little bit of well, he was out in the cold, wasn't he, under Frank Lampard. Now very much a key man under Tuchel, who has put a lot of faith in him. Chelsea now moving forward down the right-hand side of the field, but Yaroslav Rakitsky is there to get the ball away. Rakitsky, of course, for so long part of a successful Shakhtar Donetsk side, making the move to Zenit, becoming an integral part of this Zenit side, mainly alongside Dejan Lovren in the last 12 months. Of course, no Lovren today, the Croatian ruled out through injury, which is a shame because he and Kovacic, who's on the ball now, have been exchanging some amusing pleasantries in the build-up to the game. All very friendly, of course, international teammates. Rudiger with the ball just inside his own half on the left-hand side. Christensen, the centre of the three. Worth remembering as well that this three for Chelsea is keeping Thiago Silva out of the side as well. So, you know, that is a measure of how good Christensen has been and Rudiger.
Well, they're stacked everywhere you look, John. They've got options in all departments. It is an extraordinary squad. It's why I think they are my favourites to win the Premier League and my favourites to win this as well.
Here's Azpilicueta moving forward. Helps the ball on towards Hakim Ziyech. The important challenge was made by Wilmer Barrios, who support from Vendel, who makes the second challenge there on Kovacic. Very, very crowded in that middle of the field. As the cross is long, it's beyond Lukaku. To come down on the right-hand side where Sotormin will help the ball inside towards Malcolm. He's not really got anywhere to go by the corner flag here, and they'll try and fight their way out, and they've lost the ball to Ziyech. Corner of the penalty area now. It's Mount back towards Rudiger. Just a little careless from Zenit. Can't be losing the ball on just about your own goal line there. That's helped on once again towards Lukaku. Kuzyayev gets in the way, away by Wendell. Chelsea soon have it back and are able to advance, but it's a good challenge on